Morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. We're going to take a look at the economy today. We're going to take a look at the stock market. We're looking at CNBC, again, your favorite mainstream media news source for the markets. And look at the Dow futures, down 119 points. Dow looks headed for a 200-point drop at open as trade wars intensify. And they're talking about trade wars with China. China hits back with up to $60 billion in U.S. tariffs with only $3 billion of its own. So Trump is hitting hard at China, saying there's a massive trade imbalance. And the stock market's being hit by that and the Facebook scandal. The Dow Jones is down right now 724 points. Let's take a quick look at gold, and then we're going to take a look at a couple articles which detail the current state of the economy, and we'll talk about what it means for bioprophecy. Well, silver and gold are up a little bit here. Silver's at $16.54, which is still dirt cheap, all things considered, and gold is up about $14 at $1,342. Gold shines as trade war fear rattles markets. So I want to take a look at first debt. Debt is a big thing. If we go into trade war with China, China can say, look, we own a whole pile of your debt, a huge amount of it, and we could simply start dumping U.S. dollars, and that would be economic warfare on the United States, and that could crash the United States very, very quickly. So where is the U.S. national debt? Well, this is from MarketWatch.com. It didn't take long for the U.S. to rack up another $1 trillion of debt. Look at the years at the bottom here. So we've got 81. Let me see. Can you see that? Yes, you can. You got 81 on the far left here, 1981, and it keeps going up. At about 1995, it was at $5 trillion. You go over to 2010, it's at $10 trillion. You go over to 2020, and it is basically at $20 trillion. We're right at $20 trillion right now, and over that. In fact, it has taken a little more than 6 months for the U.S. national debt to grow by $1 trillion. So now, in 6 months, we're adding $1 trillion to it. So you can see how rapidly it's escalating. It's getting to a point where it's exponentially increasing. I think if you extrapolate this chart out, it will exponentially increase, because you got to, in order to be able to keep printing money out of thin air, for that money that has no worth, has no value, it's printed out of thin air. For it to have any value, you got to keep printing more and more to keep the facade, to keep the fiat currency going, the faith in the fiat currency. Well, last week the debt hit $21 trillion for the first time, rising from $20 trillion mark. It notched up on September 8th. The debt is guaranteed to go higher. President Donald Trump has signed a debt limit suspension. Having signed a debt limit suspension in February, allowing unlimited borrowing through March 1st, 2019. So that's next year. So he can spend unlimited ceiling until March 1st, 2019. And you think they're not going to push that in 2019 if the market doesn't crash? Economists expect wider deficits to result from the tax cut. While a $1 trillion increase over roughly 6 months isn't unprecedented, there was one in 2009, one during the Great Recession, and another in 2010. It's certainly fast. So that's a significant increase in terms of national debt. And you can see, and we can't, U.S. is never going to pay $21 trillion of debt off. They're just never going to. So China's looking at this and saying, you know what, U.S. can never pay this off. Even if they start trying to pay it off, it's going to mean economic recession for the next 50, 100 years foreseeable to attempt to get this paid off. So this is the economic mass destruction weapon that China basically holds in its quiver, if you will, that it could take out and shoot with its bow at any time and basically take out the United States from world superpower status and pushing the world into World War III effectively. Well, let's look at this article here. This is from ChristianJournal.net. The stock market falls another 724 points. What in the world is happening on Wall Street? We just witnessed the fifth largest single-day stock market crash in U.S. history. On Thursday, Dow Jones plunged 724 points. That's what we were looking at on CNBC. After the latest dramatic decline, the Dow is now down 3.1% so far in 2018, and it is down another 9.99% from the all-time high. So why are stocks falling so fast? USA Today is blaming the trade war with China and the latest Facebook